Hello again. Thank you so much for watching this weekly Connect for your second week in February, the 8th and the 9th. We will be teaching the kids this week that God is sovereign. So our Bible passage is in 2 Samuel 2 and then 5 through 7. So a lot of reading. It's all about King David, and we have a lot of information in there. So make sure to read that over before you get there on Sunday and be prepared to answer questions and be ready for this great passage that we're going to be teaching the kids about. Our memory verse is still John 14, 6 through 7, so continue to teach that to the kids. And before you go to your story time to learn about King David, we are going to be talking about how God is sovereign and how we can always trust Him. So you're going to have your kids do a trust circle. So the easiest way, however you can get your kids in a circle, I like to have them all join hands and kind of squunching together. Maybe if they hold their hands straight down together like this, kind of so they're shoulder to shoulder. Have them all hold hands and get in a circle like that, and then have them just turn to the left so they're looking at the person next to them. They're looking at the back of their head. And then at the count of 3, have them all sit down at the same time. So the idea is if they all sit down at the same time in their circle, they'll all be sitting on each other's laps. And nobody should get hurt. Nobody should get knocked off balance. They should be able to just do it all at once. And they just need to learn to trust the person behind them, that person will sit down at the same time and hold them up. So you can do that as many times as you need. It's really a fun little activity to do. So do that to get them started. And then, of course, go into story time, where your storyteller will be telling all about King David, about how he was anointed 3 times to be king, about all the things that happened to him as a young boy, and that he knew that God was sovereign, and he just waited patiently to become king after like 15 years passed from the first time he was anointed to the final time, the 3rd time. And then he became king. And then you're also going to be teaching about how his first act as being king was to go get back the Ark of the Covenant. And then, of course, after he got that Ark back, we all know that he leapt through the air and danced around joyously in his ephod. So can't wait to see some of you guys acting this out if you so choose, just tearing off your robes and dancing around in your undergarments. That should be interesting for the kids. So anyways, then we also will end by teaching the kids about God's covenant with David, that his line would go on forever and ever and ever, and it's just the prophecy and the promise that eventually, as we know when it's fulfilled, that was Jesus would be in David's line. So lots to teach them this week, right after the story. And again, like always, if you're the storyteller, do not think you have to get these props and set them up. You don't have to dress up as a king. That's just one way that the curriculum does that. If you do choose that you would like to dress up as the king and you need some help gathering props, just let your campus coordinator or myself know, and we will help you gather those things too. So make the story your own, however you feel comfortable doing it. If you don't feel comfortable leaping through the air, then don't do it. You can just talk about it, so no problem. Then we'll go right to worship and blessing, and after that, of course, after this whole story time and the blessing is finished, we will go back to our class time, and we have reflect questions, which you can give just as discussion, or you can play a game, however you want to do that. And then our final activity is Foursquare. And the difference of this Foursquare is that the person who is in the square 1, the coveted square 1 where everybody wants to get, is considered the king. So all the other kids, as they're playing Foursquare, are trying to get to that first square so they can be the king, and they're trying to stay the king as long as possible. So get to your classroom a little bit early so you can make sure that your Foursquare court is all set up. You will have masking tape in your room, and you'll have a rubber ball in your room ready to play, but you'll need to make your Foursquare court. And if you're an 11:15 teacher, make sure that you get there early too, just in case that Foursquare court gets a little bit tore up and you need to retape it down. So that's what we're learning. That's what we're doing this weekend, and that's about it. If you have time at the end after playing Foursquare, or you have some kids that would prefer to just do Bible work rather than to play the activity, our Bible work is 1 Kings 1 through 6, and that's starting to learn about Solomon. So that's part 1 of Solomon. So we'll do that next week. So I will leave you with the blessing that we will be giving the kids during our worship time, and it is from Ephesians 1:16 through 23. May you know God as your all-powerful King, the one who is seated in the heavenly realm, far above all earthly rulers. May the eyes of your heart be enlightened so you may know God's incomparably great power for us who believe. Awesome. So I'll leave that with you just as you'll leave that with your kids as they leave story time. And again, if you need any prayers for anything or you need any help with any activity that I've talked about, just give me a call or talk to your campus supervisor and we'd love to help you out. Thanks so much.